Hey, good morning, and thank you for attending this important webinar. I wanted to thank the panelists that are here from EDD and Social Services. Perry Brunstead is from the EDD, Employment Development Department, and Randy Swartz, who is Program Manager for Social Services here in Quincy. Also in attendance is Christine Farrell, the Assistant Director, and Terry Heiser-Haynes, Supervisor of Business Services for Lassen, Plumas, Modoc, and Sierra County. Mary Lou Stokes is our Career Advisor for Quincy, and I'm Val Borg, Business Services Representative. And with that, I want to kind of go over a little bit about how the seminar is going to work. If you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat program, which is located at the bottom of your screen, or questions and answers. We're not able to answer if you raise the hand. For some reason, we're not able to respond to that. So with that, if during this presentation you have any questions after each section, we'll be able to pick them up, and all questions will be answered and sent at the end of the presentation. Everyone will receive the slides as well as the resources, the resource guide, and any questions and answers. Okay, so with that, our office here is located at 7 Quincy Junction Road, which is across the street from the high school and in the Ropers business building. Our office number is 530-283-1606, and the staff members that are here in our Quincy office to serve you is Mary Lou Stokes, who is our Career Center Advisor, Darcy Silkwood, who is our receptionist, and myself, Val Borg, Business Services. We can also reach us through chat on the AFWD website. We can, you can call us, you can email us, and then we have a special COVID email set up, COVID-19customer@ncen.org. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And the way this program is going to work is we're going to have our first guest panelist from the Employment Development Department, and then we'll have the local social services representative, Randy Swartz, and then Mary Lou will come in and talk a little bit about the financial tips that will help you, and we'll discuss the employment training that Alliance for Workforce Development offers. And then we're going to have a little poll. It's only 4 questions, but we'd appreciate it if everyone would please answer it. And then again, we'll end with questions and answers. So at this time, we'd like to introduce Perry Brunstead from the Employment Development Department. Perry?
Oh, good morning and thank you. Good morning, everyone. So we're going to talk a little bit about the unemployment division of the Employment Development Department. And what you see up on the screen is the benefit booklet. In the lower corner, in my left-hand corner, as I'm looking at it, there's a number on the form, and it's a DE2320. You can type that into a Google search line and you can get to this booklet that way, or you can go on to the edd.ca.gov website and this information is there. This is the base program for unemployment. So when you ask for EDD, just remember there's a lot of divisions. I'm with the Workforce Services Division. There's unemployment, there's disability, there's paid family leave, workforce services, there's a tax branch. So there's many divisions. So they're separate divisions, but we all try to work together for the benefit of everyone who needs services. So it's a good read. You probably ought to take a look at that if you're filing for unemployment, especially, and if you're filing for the pandemic unemployment, that is the base program. You can find more on the pandemic unemployment as we go through this PowerPoint, and you'll also find more on the edd.ca.gov website. So let's move on. Can somebody change the slide for me, please? Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you so much. So there's 3 ways to file for unemployment. So if you're laid off, you can file online, by phone, and by paper. So by phone is the 800-300-56 number, and you'll see it on the slide. And I believe you do get a copy of this slideshow. There's prompts that you follow. One is for English, and it offers different languages as you listen to for Spanish. 3 goes on. When you pick your language, then you'll pick option 3, and it gives you the options 1, 3, 2, and 6. You still have to listen to the recorder, but at least you know the direction in which you're going. Right now, the phone lines are impacted. So I would recommend, if anybody's filing, to use the online portal to file your claim. Paper claims have to be used by federal employees or by people who have what we call a split claim, where they have worked in another state and California. When you set up your online account and you go to answer the questions, did you work in another state? It will download a form for you to fill out that has to be faxed in. Federal employees as well have to do the same thing. It'll ask if you work for the federal government, and it will download a form for you to fill out, which has to be faxed. But your online account, for the rest of us, is the most efficient and appropriate way to file. And we'll talk about how to do that in just a little bit. So there's a lot of questions going on. Let's go to the next slide, please. So the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program is going on right now. That's a federally funded program, and it's paid out through the Unemployment Division of the state of California. On the edd.ca.gov website, when you open it up, there's a big window. It's a picture. It says Pandemic Unemployment. It tells you it has pathways for you to walk you through it. I've been on it. It's very user-friendly. So when you file for unemployment, you don't file a separate claim for pandemic unemployment. It's all done the same way. There are questions on the form that will trigger the pandemic unemployment. So as you fill out your application, it will ask you, were you affected by the COVID virus, which is the trigger for pandemic unemployment. It'll ask you how you were affected. And that qualifies or disqualifies your claim by the circumstances on the form. So the filing process is still the same. So let's go to the next slide, please. So if you're self-employed, an independent contractor, or someone who may other qualifies for the pandemic unemployment, and you already filed for benefits before April 28th, this is important, you had to refile after the 28th. The system was not set up for self-employed because they don't pay into unemployment, and therefore the system was set up for laid off employees as a stopgap. So it had to be rewritten. So as of the 28th, everybody that qualified under self-employed or independent contractor would refile their claim. If you filed before then, you don't need to cancel the existing claim. You do not need to call the Employment Development Department Unemployment Division to notify them. You may have received something in the mail if you filed before the 28th saying 000. That's because there was no unemployment to draw from at the time. So if you're self-employed or an independent contractor, file again if you have not, because we're past April 28th, significantly so, but many people are still waiting. So if you know if it affects you or you know someone, be aware of that. You just file a new claim. Unemployment Online is the Employment Development Department's application portal for both regular unemployment and the pandemic unemployment claims. All applicants will be asked the same basic questions, including about employment history and earnings information, along with some questions needed to determine whether you were eligible for the pandemic unemployment assistance. Based on your responses, as well as wage information reported to the Employment Development and Unemployment Insurance Division, they will determine if your claim is processed as a regular claim or eligible for the pandemic unemployment assistance claim. Previously, for those of you that had ever been on unemployment before, once you filed, the first week was a non-paid week, but that has been waived during this time. Now, there is an end to this, and so I want everybody who's involved with unemployment to watch that edd.ca.gov website, because there are end dates on these claims and for the pandemic unemployment assistance. And there, as things are changing and our state is opening up for us to return to work, it's important to keep up on that site. That's the communication tool right there. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide, please. When you sit down to file your claim, before you sit down, you're going to need some information. You're going to need, of course, you're going to enter your name, your birthday. You'll need your full mailing address, your social security number. And if you're not a citizen, you will need your employment authorization document. There's a number on there and you'll have to enter that number. You're going to need your employment history in the last 18 months. Now, if you're self-employed, you're going to enter your own information. And when you enter on the form, there's a place for self-employed. It will ask you for information a little bit differently. But some self-employed people had a work history in their past, so be prepared for that. They'll want names, addresses, phone numbers. It asks for the total income you earned. For the self-employed, it's going to ask you for your total net income for 2019. And I recommend you make sure you filed your taxes so that you know your total net income. You don't want to guess at a figure and then later have an overpayment. So it's really important to make sure your information that you enter on there is correct to the best of your knowledge. And the reason why your jobs ended, if you were employed, why did you leave each job? So it asks that information. When you're on the application form, just remember there's a little red asterisk to the right of every question. That's mandatory information. And there are grayed out sections of the form. Those grayed out sections do not need to be filled out. So it makes the form a little easier. And I bring this up because when you're entering employment history and it'll ask you your quarterly incomes, it's grayed and there's no red asterisk beside it. So you can literally put how many hours a week you work up above your hourly rate, and you don't have to do those quarterly incomes. And that was a great help to people who were trying to file, because that was a lot of information to try to find. So let's go to the next slide, please. So we're going to talk about it. So now we're prepared. We know how we're going to file. And for us today, we're going to file with our online account. We're going to create it. If you've been on unemployment insurance before, you still have your email and your password, you will log in with that. And when you log in, it will allow you to file a new claim. Each claim is good for a 12-month period, so this is important to remember. In a normal world, when you file for unemployment and you're approved, it's good for 12 months. You get up to 26 weeks of benefit, which is basically 6 months, depending on your work history, during each 12-month period. But if you've exhausted all your benefits and you still can't file a new claim till your claim year's up, there's some questions coming up there. And I'm going to address this right now, and I didn't address this yesterday, but this is evolving information. If you exhausted a claim in January, you used all your benefits, but you cannot go back to work because of the COVID virus, the website says there's an extension available, and people are looking for that. It's supposed to be posted, and it hasn't been posted yet. So just be aware of that. There's a lot of frustration with that right now. But as these things are evolving, it will be on the edd.ca.gov website. So really watch that. That would be a daily read for me if I was involved with unemployment. I would just check it every day. Okay, so that being said, we're going to register if we haven't registered before. You're going to create a benefit program online account. For me, I like to go in with benefit program online. And when I type it in the search engine, it comes up, and right above it, it says edd.ca.gov. I just go in from there. You can go in from the unemployment website, the edd.ca.gov, but benefit program online is really a quick access. And from there, what you're going to do is you're going to create your account. So on that page, it'll say add your email and do the CAPTCHA. Don't do that if you have an account, haven't had an account before. Go to the right and click on register, and you're going to register as a new user. You're going to enter your email. You're going to create a password. Your password has criteria, so be sure you read the fine print. It has to have a capital letter, a number, and a symbol. You're going to create that password. It's going to have you answer some security questions. There's a list of drop-down menus that you can pick your security questions. When you pick them and you fill them in, you can take a picture with your phone if you have a phone, and that way you have a record of your security questions. Your password won't show because it goes in code, so you have to write your password down when you create it. And I'm a stickler on that because we spend hours and hours and hours trying to help people remember their passwords, get back into their accounts. So please, please, please write it down, put it in a very safe place, and save it. Because if you're ever on disability, maybe you have a surgery, maybe you have a baby, maybe you take paid family leave to care for a loved one or a new child, you're going to need that same password. So remember to write it down and put it where you can find it. Your security questions that you answer, if you don't have a phone to take a picture, write them down and write the answers, and also put that in a safe place. If you, for some reason, cannot remember your password and get back in, you reset your password by answering your security questions. So that's your account. And really across the board, if you're using any kind of computer program, that's rather standardized. If you're not using computers, I know this is challenging, but you have these wonderful offices and resources and people here who will try to help. So that's a wonderful service that we have for our communities. So we're going to do that once we register, once we create our email. We've got our email, we create our password, we answer our security questions, we go next. That program's going to close. It's going to send a link to your email. So you have to go into that email, to your email account, and open that link. And once you open that link, you have finalized the steps of your account. You can finish filing a new claim from that link, or you can go back out into benefit program online, enter your email. You never have to register again, just enter your email, your password, and then you can file your new claim. So if you have questions, write them down, save them. I'll be happy to answer them when we get to the end here. So let's go to the next slide. So now that we've filed our claim, once you submitted a claim, right now in this world, which is a new world for us, it's taking up to 3 weeks, but those are business day weeks, not weekends, to process your claim and receive payment. Now, here's the caveat. Unemployment, you may have set up your online account. You might see the unemployment issue payment, but your very first payment goes to a closed door division of Bank of America. And you do not have to have an account. This is a closed door division specifically for the unemployment, disability, and paid family leave offices. And that first time, that stimulates that closed door division to send you a bank card. And that it's a cash card, and I'll have a picture of Yosemite on it. I think we might have a picture of it, but it's very specific. That card is good for 3 years. You want to save it. Like I mentioned before, if you ever need surgery or paid family leave or anything, that same card will be used. It has an expiration date on it. It's 3 years from the date you receive it. So I just want to bring that up for you. So once you filed, your 3 weeks have passed. And it might be sooner. 3 weeks is usually the longest. And if it's sooner, that's wonderful. you will receive multiple letters from the unemployment division regarding the claims that you filed over the next few weeks. You should get a notice that you filed your claim, that you were awarded unemployment or denied, and a notice regarding your requirement to register with CalJobs. Now, a lot of you that qualify for the pandemic unemployment will say, I have a job waiting, and so why do I have to have a CalJobs account? Well, the unemployment system was set up that way because it's a job search. So what I recommend is, if you don't have a CalJobs account, it's caljobs.gov. Create an account on caljobs.gov. It's a wonderful site. It's the state job exchange. Employers put jobs in there from all over the state, and you will register, and then you'll create a resume on there. Now you can upload a resume on there, but you'll still have to fill out parts of the electronic wizard. And then you can search jobs by county, jobs by region, jobs by the state. So it's a very, it's a really good resource for you. There's a lot of information in there. So that's caljobs.gov. If you get a letter from unemployment telling you about it, you'll know about it. And now you'll know what to do with it. So once all that's done, so if your unemployment benefit certification form, I'm going to stop right here because it's getting ahead of us. So once that's done and you're approved for unemployment, then you're going to do what's called certify for benefits. And unemployment should send you an account number when they send you those forms we were just talking about, so that you go back in to the benefit program online with your email and your password, and you go into UI online, and then you're going to register manage that. This is a one-time step, and you're going to, it'll ask you for your name, your birth date, your social security number, and then you will add that 10-digit account number. You'll accept a disclaimer. Now you can see your unemployment online account. So you can see how much is in your account, you can see your weekly benefit, and on this you can certify for benefits. Certifying for benefits lets unemployment know if you've returned to work, lets them know if you're still available for work, lets them know if you started school or training, and lets you report if you're working part-time hours. So that's what certifying for benefits are. So your initial setup is a little involved, but once it's set up, it's just wonderful. You can, if you certify, it keeps a record for you. You can see what you've done. So it's a really good program. And once you get it set up, you'll be, I think you'll be really pleased with it, as long as you don't lose your password. Okay. So now if we've certified for benefits, so those of you that have already filed and been approved and been receiving monies, for the weeks ending March 14th through May 9th, you didn't have to certify for benefits for those 2 weeks. And that was to help people who were financially struggling, but it was an across the board, because how do you choose who's struggling and who's not? Now, some people worked during those 2 weeks, and if you did, you need to report that. And the way you report that, if you were automatically paid out, is you're going to, I've got it right here. You're going to go to edd.ca.gov, and you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page. So you've heard that website a lot, so really write that down, edd.ca.gov. And you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page, and it'll say Ask EDD. And then when you click, that's going to give you a drop-down option, and you're going to pick unemployment insurance benefits. And then you're going to get a drop-down from there, and you're going to select payments. And then I think it's another drop-down. It says your option that you're going to pick is EDD paid me and I returned to work. I need to report wages. Now, it doesn't mean you return full time. It means you had working hours. And this is where you will report the wages for those two. This is just for those weeks, those 2 weeks ending March 14th and May 9th, if you work during those 2 weeks. And so then after you select the option EDD paid me, you know, I went to work, and you continue, it will allow you to report there. I suggest if you have a phone, you take pictures of what you put in there. I'm kind of a person who always likes a track record or screenshot it or just write down what you've done. That way you have a track record of what's happened. But that's how you report any wages during those 2 automatic payout weeks. So I think that's important. Otherwise, you will still certify for benefits, which allows you to communicate with unemployment. Yesterday, we had a question. On the certification for unemployment, it asks you, were you too sick or injured to work? That would mean you're disabled. And if you're too sick or injured to work, unemployment generally doesn't pay you for the days you say you're too sick or injured to work. So, you know, think about the question. And then, was there any reason you couldn't work? Well, if the COVID virus was lifted, you could work, right? So probably there was no reason you couldn't work. You've already told unemployment that because of the COVID virus, you're home. And then it's going to ask you, did you look for work? Now, usually that question has to be answered yes, because on unemployment, you have to be able, available, and actively seeking work. Right now, you can put no because of the COVID virus. So either yes or no is appropriate right there, okay? If you have a CalJobs account, you are searching for work because that's an active online search with your resume. Okay, so I think we've covered that. I just want to say, if you're eligible for the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, you'll receive Pandemic Unemployment Assistance payments on the EDD debit card, the same as your unemployment. And if you're approved for the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and after certifying for benefits, you may be able to receive your first Pandemic Unemployment payment within approximately 2 days of your application if you have an existing EDD debit card. Now, that's after you've filed and after you've been approved and so forth. I haven't seen anything really happening in 2 days just because of the incredible amount of need right now. So I would say be a little patient there. Usually, once you get your claim established and you certify for benefits in a normal world, you're paid within 24 to 48 hours once you've received your card, and you're certifying every 2 weeks. By the way, you certify for benefits every 2 weeks. 2 weeks have to pass before you can certify. So you're saying during these past 2 weeks, this is what's happened. I'm still needing my unemployment. And of course, the goal of unemployment is to get people to work on a regular world. And right now, the pandemic unemployment assistance is coming through this program. So kind of confusing on some levels. So that Bank of America card you get has a phone number on the back. And there's also a website where you can set up your account, just like you set up an account with Benefit Program Online. You can set up an account with your Bank of America card. It's on the back of your card, and you can go to an ATM. I helped a client do it yesterday. It was very user-friendly. It's prepaid.bankofamerica.com. And the Bank of America is all one word. And you'll go in, it'll have you enter the card number, have you enter some information. So it's a cash card, it's your account with them. Once you've received it and activated it, you can call the number on the back to ask for automatic deposits. So that is also available. So let's go to the next slide. We did already talk about CalJobs, so I'm not going to talk anymore about that. I'm quickly going to cover the California training benefit. If you're on unemployment before your 16th week of your claim, you can call unemployment at 800-300-5616. That is the public line. It is usually available between 8 and noon every day. I know they're on longer hours now, but that's how it usually was. I like to think they're available between 8 and noon because in the afternoon, that's when they pay everybody. But that's just my own thought. So that is the normal way to contact unemployment. And you would just notify them that you're planning on going to school, and they do what they call flag your account. So it just lets them know that that's something in your future, so that if you do use a California training benefit, they've been alerted. What the California training benefit is it's a program that may extend your unemployment because you're going to school to get a job. So if you're in a field where there's no employment and maybe you want to go into nursing, computer technology, or something that's a growing field, you may be eligible for the California Training Benefit. There's information on this on the edd.ca.gov website. You're going to be tired of hearing me say that, but it's a great site, and this information is there, it's available. And so if you certify for benefits and you mark that you're in school or training, it will trigger this California Training Benefit. What it is you get a packet, you have to fill it out, and that's between you and unemployment from there on. So I'm not going to go into too much about it. I'm just going to let you know it's there and available if you need it. Just remember, the California Training Benefit doesn't pay for your school, your books, or anything like that. The partner agencies many times have help in those areas, but what it may do is give you extended unemployment while you're in training, okay? And then let's go to our Veterans Services. We have Veterans Services at the Workforce Services Office. Reading is your local area. For the 7 northern counties, that's where the Employment Development Office is. We have Workforce Services, we have Veterans Services, we have Employer Advisory Council, we have a lot of divisions there. So veterans are a real priority for us as well. So we have disabled veteran outreach representatives who help disabled to low income veterans with food services, jobs. There's veteran service offices. So of course, there again, that's also on the site. But I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the things that are available as you're going through this time. And then if we go to the last slide, it says helpful online links. And as you've heard me say, edd.ca.gov is just an amazing site. I go on there myself every morning. It's how I start my day. It keeps me informed as well. I have my internal information, but I also need to know what's going on. So a caveat, remember that anything that is the government is going to be .gov. Don't go to uionline.com. It's always .gov for government agencies. I'd like to finish by saying there's been a lot of frustrations with the Employment Development Department and Employment Division. We're all sorry for that. We know it's impacted. We know there's so many people in need and very few people to handle it. And just be diligent. Those of us that can help you will do everything we can to help you. And we won't give up. We'll just keep trying till we get everything in order. So thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Okay, thank you so much. We did have one question. Just a second while I pull it up. If their name has changed since the last time that they applied for UI due to a marriage or something, does that affect them in receiving benefits on the debit card in the old name?
Really good question. I would notify unemployment. They're probably going to want a copy of your marriage license, because if you're filing under a different name, if you hyphenated your name and it's the same social security number, you might be all right. If you're a different name with a social security number, they're going to want proof of identity. So it's a fraud protection. So I think it would be important how you file that.
Okay. I don't see any other questions, but anyone that's listening, you can send in your question, and at the end of this presentation, we will be emailing out all the questions and answers that come in. So you will get an answer. Okay. So thank you again, Perry. That was very informative, very necessary. And I think we all do understand that EDD is overwhelmed, as we all are. Right. Now, our next panelist, Randy Swartz, is having trouble getting onto our webinar. So I'm going to go over a few of the services that are available here in Quincy. And right now, the Social Services Department, they have 4 main reliefs. One is CalFresh, which is our food assistance, and it's food stamps. Medi-Cal, which is the medical assistance and insurance coverage. CalWorks for, again, it will give some monetary assistance to a family. And of course, we have the general relief, again, monetary assistance, and it can be in various forms. Now, the difference, the way I understand it, right now with COVID is there's a lot less paperwork. There's a lot of, you can call in and you don't have to go through the same eligibility requirements, especially for things like food stamps. You don't have to prove income. Eventually you will, of course, but and the best things that you can do is to call the social services department. They are still operational. They are seeing people. They've set up their COVID distancing and sanitizing after each person, but they're still available, and they're at the annex. If you are unfamiliar with them, it's over by where Feather River College is, but you take that first little road and it's in that building. But you can also give them a call at any time. And some of the other programs that we have available in Plumas County is the supplemental program for women, infants, and children. That again is a food program. The Plumas Crisis Intervention and Resource Center, PCIRC, they've been doing quite a lot for the community. The people that have been homeless in Plumas County have been given hotel rooms. PCIRC is allowing people, quarantined individuals, to receive 3 meals a day, and that includes the homeless people, while the shelter in place is enacted. There's also special senior food services and new ones that have been enacted because many seniors who may have a compromised system do not want to go out and shop in local stores. So PCIRC has made arrangements to do that for them. Then our utility companies, we have 2 in Plumas County, the Plumas Sierra Rural Electric Cooperative, which is also an internet connection, and PG&E. And both of the electric companies, electric and gas, they have special hardship programs. They'll work with you on payments, and no one is going to be disconnected, and that also includes your internet, will not be disconnected during this time. Your best course of action is to notify them if you are having any issues, and they will work out a program, payment program for you. And of course, we have food banks throughout Plumas County in every city: Portola, Chester, Greenville, Indian Valley, Quincy, and you need to call or go online and find out when those food banks are available. So we are going to have a full resource list that will be emailed out to you with telephone numbers and quite a bit more information than is here. And just hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of the many services that are available right now during this COVID. Next slide, please. Okay, and now I'm going to introduce Mary Lou Stokes, who is our Career Center advisor, and she's going to go over a few of the financial tips and reminders and things that might be able to help you. Mary Lou?
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Yes, I have some financial tips and reminders. First of all, don't forget to apply for your unemployment or your PUA benefits through the EDD, and as Perry discussed earlier in detail on how to do that. You want to apply for the county social service benefits because there are quite a few, which Val touched on for us. Thank you, Val. The stimulus payment. If you have not received your stimulus payment, go to the IRS website, check under Get My Payment. And if you normally get direct deposit from your taxes, that's where the stimulus payment would be the same. They put it in your deposit, in your bank account. And if you don't normally receive taxes back, they could have a check for you somewhere. So you may want to check on that and see. If you're COVID related, if you withdraw money from your early withdrawal penalty is being waived for COVID-19 related distributions, but you want to see a financial advisor if you're withdrawing it from your retirement account, which so your penalty would be waived. Student loan repayments have been suspended for 180 days from the passage of the COVID Act, which is from March 18th through September 30th. And again, you'd want to contact your student loan provider. You don't want to ever assume anything. You want to contact people that can help you out, that are knowledgeable in this situation. There's some mortgage companies that are suspending payments. So contact your mortgage company directly. A lot of them are, though, telling you that you need to have one lump sum for all the payments that you missed. So you want to check that out to make sure you don't have to come up with an outrageous amount of money once the COVID is lifted, and see how they handle that. But there are some mortgage companies that are willing to help. And there are some utility companies that are suspending late fees, as Val mentioned. They're suspending the disconnection to services, and contact which utility company directly for more help and guidance. There's also, the veterans also have help available, which for veterans who have lost employment due to COVID, they may be eligible for a $250 grant. And if they feel they might be eligible, they want to go to www.dav.org/COVID relief. And you might be able to find some help there. We can move the slide. That'd be great. Thank you. So we are a nonprofit, America's Job Center of California. We have one office in Plumas County that's located in Quincy at 7 Quincy Junction Road. We offer a variety of services. We are part of the Northern Rural Training and Employment Consortium, also known as NORTEC. And how we help job seekers. We work with individuals that are in different places in their life. We work with adults, dislocated workers, and youth. Right now, we have a couple special grants going on. COVID-19 Affected Workers Grant, an AA grant. Also a DW Impact Grant for supportive services, COVID affected only. I'll go into a little more detail later on that. Programs and grants help those that are working with reduced hours or limited hours, and work those that are laid off for temporary work and employment or training services. And as you can see, there's a whole list of services we provide, such as we have, you can use our resource center to access a copier, a fax machine, printer, or phone. We have community services information and job referrals. We have connection to employers. We can assist you with resume and cover letters, career assessments, one-on-one career counseling and guidance, education and training assistance, supportive services, public assistance recipients can help you out. So there's a whole lot that we can do to help, and it just give us a phone call and we'll do whatever we can to help you out. So the special programs that we have to help are, first of all, supportive service assistance. You may be eligible up for, these are COVID relief or COVID-19 relief programs. You may be eligible for up to $400 or up to $800 worth of assistance. It'll help you with things like work attire, telework items, utility payments, rent payments, work tools, transportation assistance, and much more. The temporary work program is provides temporary placements with local, public, or nonprofit agencies to help you gain an income and even additional skills. Positions have to be related to helping with COVID-19 impacts. We do have limited availability, and you should contact us as soon as possible. We here in Quincy have 3 employers so far that are looking for some employees, and so give us a call so we can see what we can do to help place you in those positions.
All right, so I just want to make sure that you got that.
So we have internships, work experience, and temporary work placements, excuse me. When we do the work experience, it helps to improve your skills of the workforce by offering short-term work assignments. And so it gives you experience, it gives you soft skills, and helps you get an idea of what you may be wanting to do. But it gives you, good working experience. The special grants they're 100% paid for by FWD. It's a great stepping stone when you're looking for permanent employment. The transitional jobs, the adult program for those with specific barriers. So you have to call us so we can go over what is available and who is eligible for it. But the ones we have available now are through the TJC that are COVID related, as we talked about previous. So OJTs, we've been doing some on-the-job trainings. There's a couple of ways we do it. We help you find positions with employers of jobs that you may like to do, but you don't have any experience in them. We can give you direct job referrals, help with your job development. The new employees get the training they need from 1 to 6 months, gives applicants a chance to gain employment. The OJTs offers opportunities to employees that wouldn't normally have it if they didn't have any experience in a career that they're interested in. So this helps place them in something that they think they might be interested in, and it helps them out to get that training for an employer, as the OJTs help the employer with payroll costs and gives them the opportunities to train employers for specific career opportunities at less of a cost for them. So that usually they're very interested in doing something like that, and it kind of is a win-win situation for everybody. Training assistance. We've helped a lot of people in their training assistance through different schools, and all our different offices help with different schools. We have here we have Feather River College, and some of the training that we offer is it's called an ETPL list. They're on the ETPL list. They're the business classes, CNAs, and the LVNs, the licensed vocational nurses. That's been a very popular one. We can help you with training related items that are needed for that, such as books, uniforms, stethoscopes. That's for the LVN program. The business classes, we can help with books and whatever that they're required that you have to take the course, that will help you to attain certificates or licenses in these programs. So it can be very helpful for somebody who's trying to get ahead in life and they just don't quite have all the money for it. So then we can step in and help you out, and to help you attain those certificates and licenses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Lou. That was very informative. And if anyone needs to ask Mary Lou questions, you can type it in or give us a call after this webinar at 283-1606. So right now, we're going to pop up a little poll, and if you wouldn't mind answering those 4 questions, that'll really help us in the future. And we want to also point out the nortechjobs.org site. This is where we have a lot of our local job openings, and currently we have quite a few. There are a number of businesses that are open and that are practicing safe distance and have a lot of safety issues, protocols in place. So if you are looking to find a job, nortechjobs.org is a perfect website for local jobs in Plumas County and in 9 Northern California counties. And then if you need to reach out to us, we have, you can reach us by phone, visit our local offices. We're available on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We also have the chat feature on the afwd.org website. And we have a special COVID email set up, COVID-19 customer@nce.org. And I want to thank all of the participants and our panelists for showing up for this webinar. And if there's any other questions, we'll take them now. Otherwise, we will be sending this complete slides out to everyone, as well as a complete resource list of various resources available in Plumas County, and the questions and answers that we've received. So at this time, thank you very much. Let me see, I don't see any other questions at this time. So thank you very much. And thank you, Perry, for talking to us and explaining all of the issues with the Employment Development Department. That's very, very helpful.
You know, I just wanted to add, you did a beautiful job there. People really want to start thinking about going back to work because when it is lifted, and even though you might make less at your job than you're getting with the government additions here, having a job is the future, and this will end. So plan to get back to work, because there may be less jobs than people needing jobs as businesses close or don't reopen. So very good point.
Thank you, and you're correct. And I've talked with a number of employers this week, and they're anxious to go back to work, and they're hoping that they'll be able to bring their own staff. But I also have a couple people that are looking to expand, that this has given them a little opportunity to look at their own business goals and change their business model so that they're actually planning on growing. So thank you. So thank you very much. And please complete that poll. And that's it. Thank you very much.